gentlemen, you're listening to another edition of DIY Money.
DIY Money.
So if you're not on YouTube yet, you need to be DIY Money on YouTube because I apparently am having a fashion faux pas today wearing, what color? I'm wearing brown socks with blue jeans and brown shoes and a brown belt. What's wrong with that? What am I supposed to wear? What's the deal?
You got dark brown socks.
What's wrong with that?
Light brown shoes.
Yeah, but look, the lines, they match the shoe.
Socks are an extension of the pants, man.
Anyways.
They extend the pants. They don't extend the shoes.
I thought they're supposed to match the belt.
Socks?
I don't know.
Gosh, no.
Anyways, welcome back. You're listening to another wonderful edition of DIY Money. We've got a great question today, but let's go through some housekeeping odds and ends. No bro talk today, just housekeeping. Housekeeping. Number one, again, if you're not over on DIY Money on YouTube, check it out. Jordan West, producer extraordinaire, taking us to the next level. Very excited about that. Oh, and also, when you got 45 minutes to an hour, check out the podcast / interview with Will Levis. That's awesome. Up-and-coming future quarterback superstar from University of Kentucky. Whether you like sports or not, I'll tell you right now. Whether you're a sports fan or not, that's a podcast to check out. DIY Tribe. Oh, I meant to bring something I wanted to read today from the Tribe. Darn it all. No, it's okay. It's too late now. The moment's passed. It is what it is. But the DIY Tribe is rocking, and it's kind of like group therapy at times. I mean, it really is. I put out the other day, I was like, I'll put a Rocky clip because I've been getting whacked. I mean, I've been just boom, boom, boom. Home ownership. Everybody wants to buy a home. Oh, my gosh. I mean, I had septic problems. Then I had water in my basement. Then I had a tree issue. Then I had a drainage issue.
What's your tree issue now?
Yeah. Tree issue creates a drainage issue. Drainage issue creates the backwater fill to the house, which creates the water problem in the basement. Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
Grass is greener. Always has to be mowed. Don't ever forget that. Grass is greener on the other side of the fence. It always has to be mowed.
Lesson by AstroTurf.
Oh, my gosh. Let's keep moving right along. DIY Tribe is rocking. Insta DIY.tribe. Rolling out the DIY Money Minute. I'm pretty pumped about that. Look for that coming on the Instagram. No brainer there with that one. What else? Let's go right to our question. The first one is from
David.
David, what do you got?
Hey, DIY Money. My name's David, and I have a question on how much of my income I should allocate to cash. I'm in my mid-20s, I rent, and I'm debt-free. Currently, I contribute enough of my paycheck into my 401k retirement account to max it out by the end of the year. I'm also going to max out my Roth IRA by the end of the year. The remainder of the money will either go in cash or in an individual brokerage account for stocks. Here's the thing. My savings account has enough cash for 2 years of expenses, so it's more than enough for an emergency fund. This is mostly because a few years ago, I wasn't as aggressive with investing. My question is, should I keep contributing a percentage of my income to cash savings, or should I cap it off and allocate the entire remainder of my paycheck into stocks? My next big purchase, like a house, new car, or wedding, probably won't happen until at least 2 or 3 years from now. Is it wise if I continue growing my cash savings every paycheck, or should I be capping off my savings account and contributing the rest to stocks? Thanks for taking my question. Love the show. Keep up the awesome work. Thanks, guys.
Man, well articulated. I don't know if people are writing these questions down and then reading them. I can kind of tell when they do that. Mm-hmm. But, our audience rocks. Well articulated. Great question, David. This is a simple one for me, and I don't even need to go down the psychological rabbit holes regarding how much cash, an emergency fund, and yada, yada. You listed a few massive expenses that could be coming in the next couple years. Wedding, boom, congrats on that one. Not sure if you picked out the ring yet or not, but whatever. Wedding, house, these are huge expenses. So kind of our general, quote-unquote, I hate to use rule of thumb, but is, listen, anything in the 3 to 5 year range, especially in this market environment, and I don't want to get into the timing mechanism, but the value of the market is correlates with like real estate right now, which is very, very high. I'm not so sure I'd put that money to work. So if you were looking at making a substantial down payment on a house, maybe you were biding your time like Daniel is, I'm sure he'll touch on this. You were looking at, hey, I got a wedding, I got this, that, and the other. Basically take your 3 to 6 months emergency fund out of the equation. You've got a year and a half. I don't know. I'm guessing you're contributing $19,500 to your 401k. You're putting another $6,000 into your Roth, $25,000 a year. I'm guessing you're in the six-figure range of income. So, all of a sudden you've got a couple $100,000 sitting aside. See this math I'm doing? He's like, man, you're in my bank book. I don't know about that. But I mean, seriously. So now all of a sudden you're sitting on an extra $125,000. When the time is right, you'll then be able to slide in, buy the home, pay for the wedding. I don't think you change a thing. Now, the last thing I'll say is percentage of money towards, savings. I think here's the deal. If you look and say, look, in a better environment, I'll buy a $250,000, $300,000 house. I need $60,000 to put down. Wedding, I don't know what weddings cost today. Mine was like $5,000, but whatever. No, it wasn't that. I just tried to. That was like a little humble brag, and it wasn't even right. But anyways, let's say it's $20,000. So right there, you got $80,000 that's gone. Plus, all the other nonsense that you got to do when you buy a house. But I would say if you've got that 100 to whatever sitting aside, and ultimately you're now looking at adding more, that might be overkill. That may be the time that you start investing. This is the wealth creation phase. You're investing in a taxable account, maybe a dividend portfolio, or maybe you're keeping it simple with just index funds, etc. So I, love the idea that you've got sizable balance available for all of these goals that you've set forth. B, not so sure if you do the math that you'll want to keep doing that if you've kind of got that money in reserve. That's my 2 cents on it. He's fire, by the way, and not like freedom, independence, retire, blah, whatever that means. I just mean he's on fire with his plan.
I mean, he's hitting hard,
maxing
hard. Stuff out. That's really good. So you took the road of he is going to buy a house soon, but it didn't stop. He said ways off.
He said in a couple years. He said 2 years.
Okay. Yeah. So I guess once you back out the 6-month emergency fund, making sure, I mean, if there's enough there for a down payment and or a wedding, then the next bucket is logically just wealth creation. So I don't know why, if you already had enough for the down payment and you already had enough for the wedding, plus you have the 6-month emergency fund, I don't know why you would need more cash at that point.
Because a lot of people don't think about or realize, hey, I can now invest this money. I mean, How many times do we have somebody who goes, what else can I do? They're maxing a 401k, they're maxing a Roth, and we go, open an investment account.
Yeah,
and they correlate. They think like that means Robinhood buying crazy meme stocks. That's not what it means. It means basically you could follow the same trajectory in your 401k in a Vanguard account.
Yeah, they shouldn't look much different unless the goal time horizon is massively different.
Right.
But odds are your taxable investing account is a long-term time horizon, hopefully.
Especially when you've got these other things allocated for.
Yeah, so I mean, I would not think of it in terms of percentages, in terms of dollar amounts, and things of that. I would think of it just in terms of goals, the same way you are with your retirement account. So you have your retirement bucket, that's set up with a goal. You're maxing that out with hopes to have a really huge retirement fund, or at least as much as you need. Plus, you have your very short-term bucket already figured out, which is your emergency fund, plus these other big goals. And I'm kind of assuming that you have enough there for those. What you're just missing is that medium-term bucket, which is building wealth creation that will supply you for any of the goals that exist before retirement.
So, It's a Wonderful Life.
Usually,
one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Potter, who basically took over Bedford Falls from all of the citizens except for George Bailey. By the way, if you've never watched this movie, you should watch this movie. But the reason Potter was able to take advantage of opportunities when they presented themselves, he had cash. Now, nobody liked him, and he was the evil Mr. Potter, but he had cash.
Mm-hmm.
I realize we are in an environment where people think you will never be able to buy a home again. It's impossible. Like, no way, they're going to go up to the sky forever prices. We're never going to. I promise you, some point in the future, you are going to be able to buy a home at a reasonable price. You're in the driver's seat, my man. You're in the driver's seat.
Would you keep allocating cash then in hopes of having cash available? I mean,
no.
So if housing prices go down, I mean, you can't say one for one, but does that mean that the economy is in stocks or not? I mean,
Could
so would
be
you
slowing.
just
Yeah. So, but what I'm
accrue?
trying to get at is, and this was not necessarily for David.
Sure.
I don't hear any FOMO in David's voice at all. But it is for the dozens of other people who email, text. Well, they don't text. We don't have that.
No.
Whatever. I don't know why I said
Comment.
that. Comment that say, "Oh, I'm discouraged. I can't buy a home, etc." And I'll say it time and time again until the opportunity comes. Build up the war chest and the capital now, and forget about this idea that you've got to chase and you have to get into something. That's terrible.
Yeah. Just last week, I posted a blog on the website. 3 reasons why I personally have an emergency fund, even though we deal with investments day in and day out.
That sounds like a riveting piece.
Very riveting piece. But one of
what
them.
are the 3 reasons?
Well, one of the key ones was opportunity sometimes appears in gray skies. So it's not just that the emergency fund is there for my emergencies. It's also there for when the world around us is going through an emergency, and maybe I want to have some cash available to take an opportunity. Now, with that, you lose some of the upside right now that you may have in stocks and so forth, but you're kind of taking a portion and going, hey, I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to use this should a great opportunity come along in the future.
There you go, David. I think it's phenomenal. You're on the right track. Keep it up. Hopefully we answered your question. We will send you a $25 Amazon gift card. So we haven't talked about this in a while.
More cash.
We're getting questions a lot, which is great. So it's real simple. All he did was send us a voice memo to podcast@DIYmoney.org, podcast@DIYmoney.org. Then we threw that in the show. Because we used it on the show, we'll send him a $25 Amazon gift card. Boom. Follow us on Insta, DIY.money. For soon, the Money Minute. I'm pretty pumped about that. Check us out on the Tribe on Facebook. And as always, now make sure you're queuing up the YouTube, DIY Money. Remember, friends, the secret to wealth is very simple. Live on less than you make. Invest the rest after you have a sizable emergency fund.
Sure.
And if you've allocated for expenses down the road. And do it for a very long time. Make it a great one.